Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I'm just doing a fast one just purely because of the job I'm on and I haven't done one of these before. It's a 2012 Ford Transit long wheelbase, back wheel drive. I think it's 2.4 engine is inside it. What I'm actually doing is a set of glow plugs. You want a second? My little light. Right, glow plugs. When I looked in here, the glow plugs are in and they're a hide. Here are the 4 glow plugs. So we have 1, 2, 3. And way back down the back we have number 4. The glow plugs are a hide in behind the intake manifold, so you cannot get in at them at all. They're very, very hard. What I've done is I could get in at all the bolts relatively easy. So all the bolts I suppose are quite handy enough. There's 1 bolt there on the intake manifold itself. There's what, 5 on the top and probably 4 on the bottom. Again, all relatively easy enough to get in it from in here. Now, I don't want to be up too close that maybe you might be concerned, but I popped off any of the wiring or fuel pressure sensors and any stuff that I had off. Then I went underneath. The EGR valve is sitting in at the very, very back. In here. No room, quite hard to get in at, and I have had lads changing EGR valves and taking a long time, so I didn't want to go in too hard on it, but I'll show you what I done with the EGR valve. But for now, once I got all the bolts out and then got 2 bolts disconnected out of the EGR valve, I didn't disconnect anything off the intake pipe, which is sitting down here where it's bringing air into the engine, but I was able to push or maneuver the intake manifold down just enough to get out the actual bolts. I know lads, I've seen lads put up stuff about these, but they are relatively roomy once I get in there. Now they can be tight. I had number 1, 2 and 3 tight, and lo and behold number 4 was nice and clean and came out nice and free. Whippy do, the awkward one. But these ones I had a little bit of manoeuvring, bit of WD-40 in there and manoeuvred them in and out. I did take off a fuel pipe coming from the actual pump, which is sitting down here, up and around and in. And I took that out of the way so I could get my intake manifold back a bit. What I also did do is when I wingled the intake manifold out, I don't know if you can see it sitting in there. I'd like to point it right there. Right here, I have one of the intake manifold bolts popped in. They don't fall out. The intake manifold bolts are nice. They're actually held in the intake manifold. But I have it popped into the intake hole. Not really great, but you can see it there actually where it's held into the intake hole, and that's holding the manifold down for me, which is giving me a little bit of room here. Now, I'm going to show you what I've done if I can. Oh, 1 second, that's me moving around. What I've done on the EGR valve, which is probably going to be the tip that's going to be handy. From underneath, the EGR valve is sitting way up there and it's awkward enough to get into. I took off the 2 bolts off the back of the EGR valve, which are easy enough to get into. There's a gasket in there, don't lose the gasket. Once the bolts came out, the actual other side of the EGR valve is bolted onto a flexible pipe that's going to the intake manifold. But once I was moving the intake manifold, that is actually coming with it. And there was 1 bolt in the intake manifold, which is hard to get at. But once I got rid of these 2 bolts again, I was able to maneuver or manipulate. 1 second, look at it. 1 bolt back here in around the EGR valve that is hard to get in at. Once I removed the 2 bolts from the back, the cooler of the EGR valve, I was able to get in at the 1 bolt that was sitting down here without removing the EGR valve in its entirety, okay? So the awkward bolt comes out once I had the 2 bolts out of the back taken out. Don't know if that's of any assistance to anyone or any help. Not a big long-winded video. Fast little push on a tip or pointers that I've seen. I'm about an hour and 15 minutes maybe into it now. I hope I'm going to get out relatively fast, but yeah, hopefully it'll cut time for some of you guys. Guys, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next cartoon. Peter Kennedy signing out. Like and subscribe, guys. Hey, also, you can, God knows what it looks like, but you can also follow me on Instagram or on Facebook, Kennedy's Garage. If you put in Kennedy Garage on Instagram, you get it. It's actually KENNEDY_garage, but I'll surely pop up there somewhere. You can't but miss my ugly mud. Okay, talk to you then.